Hello, friends and family, and all of our ETBU Tiger enthusiasts. This is the ETBU Coaches Show, the best coaches show in all of D3. But that's just me talking. Mark T. Robinson here with head track and field coach Natalie Bach Prather. And this is a big week for you guys as it is the ASC Championships, the most exciting meet of the season. And just kind of talk about how do you feel, are the emotions kind of revved up right now here for this weekend?
Yeah, we're getting excited. We call this weekend Armageddon because everyone that can do any event, they are in it. And, it's a two-day event. And so a lot of the two-day events, we don't really have prelims and finals for most of our other meets. So that's always an added extra excitement, going in. So we're all going to be equally fatigued as we go into Saturday.
Yes.
But they're excited. We are coming off of two meets in a row that have gotten rained out. So, originally that's not ideal, but it might work in our favor. I don't know. I know that they're fresh. I know that they're feeling good this week and they're ready to compete. They're tired of getting rained out. So I'm excited. They're excited. The energy is good. Mentally, we're all in a good place. So I'm ready.
And that's always great to hear with such a big competition coming up for your team. And like you said, you guys competed at the University of Central Arkansas this past weekend. A little bit of a shortened meet, as you said, because of weather.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely. But like you said, it could work out in terms of the fact that, with the ASC Championships this week, some of your athletes getting a little bit of deserved rest. However, when you look at the performances across the board, still doing very well. And there was an added kind of aspect of this meet in that I believe this was the first meet this year that was kind of based on points, and you guys finished in the top 5 on both sides. So as a coach, how encouraging is that for you?
That was encouraging, especially you're talking about this last weekend, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
sure.
because we didn't even finish the meet. So that's encouraging.
Yes.
We had a good performance Friday. And then we just barely got through a few events Saturday. And it poured down rain the whole time. So at a certain point I called it and we came home. But that's encouraging. Because we were there to get a few events in and we were having fun with it. So that's always fun to see. We weren't really going hard at it.
Yes.
So to be able to place like that is encouraging. And it's always good to end on a good weekend like that with good points going into conference.
Absolutely. And just looking at the overall performance for both of your teams, and the theme of this year has just been the steady improvement on both sides. And just as a head coach for you, how much easier, or on the other side, how much harder does it make your job when you see your athletes for both teams consistently doing well in their respective events?
I'm thrilled. We've been trying to get to this point forever. That's the goal, is to have steady improvement. But I got to give the credit to where credit is due. And I have a lot of help. Coach Williams has been amazing. He's upped up his game with the sprinters. I've got my grad assistants, Victoria Gutierrez and Sadie Barrage. And then, of course, my student assistants, Matthew Berry and Kaylin Coleman. And to have help is just so exciting. And you can tell because we're able to give every individual group of athletes the attention that they need. And so we're seeing it. Throwers, jumpers, sprinters, hurdlers, distance, it doesn't matter. We've seen improvement across the board. And that is all because of some awesome help that I've had this year.
Absolutely. And I know as you look, the teams are excited, the athletes are excited, and like you said, when able to get that attention, they know what to work on each week and know what to improve on. So it has been exciting just watching in the few meets I've been able to attend with you guys. But as you said, it's the big one this week. So, and you called it Armageddon, and just because of the fact that athletes are going to be not only in their regular events, they're probably going to be doing a few events that they haven't necessarily been taking a part of in several of the meets this year. So it's going to be interesting dynamic. So as an athlete, how do you kind of approach that side of it?
Well, fortunately, they all have their one or two events that they know they're going to do really well in, and that's what we've trained them for. But then it's just the mindset, the mental mindset of we got to give everything we have. You know, it's about points. We need as many points as we can possibly get. And so I think they're in the right mindset, and they know, you know, we do what we need to do. We will shuttle back and forth on Friday. We will do ice baths. We'll do the compression pants. We'll do everything we need to do for recovery's sake. And you know, we feed them well. We make sure that they're sleeping. You know, a talk that we always have going into conference is sleeping and eating habits. And we make sure that they're focused on what they're doing, because at this point, it's all those little things that add up to make it a successful weekend, especially when you are thrown in 5 events and 3, you know, maybe 2 of which you've maybe never done or done once, twice, twice in a year, you know. But we make it work. And it's fun. It's exciting. I think they all enjoy it. We'll need a week to recover, but it's going to be an awesome weekend.
Absolutely. And as you guys are traveling down to Abilene, Texas, and hopefully the weather stays in your favor.
That would be great.
We're definitely going to be praying for that. But just looking at your athletes overall on the individual side, for the distance runners, Melissa Rodriguez has been really doing well over the last 2 weeks. Just to name a few, Gracie Allman has done a great job. I believe she's been in the top 5 in the high jump.
Absolutely.
Just about every meet she's attended. So kind of to have that balance as to you have the distance runners that are going to do their jobs, and then you have on the women's side in the field events several tremendous athletes that are going to be placing in the top 5. You know, how does that kind of play into the overall scheme of what you guys are looking to accomplish here at the ASC Championships?
Well, we're always looking for depth, and every year we're trying to get depth so we can have athletes that are placing in the top 5. But this year, both on our men and women's side, we have several athletes that have that potential to place in the top 5. But it's not just 2 events. It's across the board. Like you said, I mean, our field events and our track events, we should be pretty solid. And to know that going in, that we have a solid base in these throwers and a solid base in these jumpers. You know, I think this is the most throwers and jumpers I've ever had. Obviously, we've always done well distance and sprint-wise, but it's just exciting to see the depth and the talent within that depth. And so the kids are pumped because they know what that means, you know, and so they're ready. They're ready to go to war.
Absolutely. And speaking of, for your seniors, one of the things I'm kind of thinking about for them, this could be possibly their, you know, last hoorah with the team. So just kind of talk about what that means for you as a head coach. Aaron Honeywood, one of those great pioneers for your program.
I know. It's always bittersweet. You know, they're excited and they have nothing to lose. So it's kind of fun to see the seniors go out because they're going out to prove something one more time. And you can't really replicate that sometimes. And so I've been so proud of this group of seniors. You know, sometimes you do kind of have to draw out that energy and that excitement for one last year. And, you know, a couple of them got off to a little slow start at the beginning of the year. But, you know, when it settles in that this could potentially be your last meet, then it kind of just makes you up your game a little bit. And mentally, they have been so focused. And they're ready to do whatever they need to do. So I think it's going to be fun to watch because I think we're going to see something pretty special.
Absolutely. And as I said, wish I was taking a trip with you guys, but we'll definitely be, you know, keeping up to date with all the results and everything that's happening for this big weekend. And one of the last things I did want to get to here before we close out, just your relay teams. Last year, the men's team coming in first place in the 4x1. And then this year, it looks like your women's team is trying to get a championship of their own for their relay squad. They've been setting PRs just about every time they take the track. So what has been kind of the big secret for the women's side? We talked about the chemistry and things like that, but what has been the key to their success this year?
Well, obviously chemistry plays a big part in that, but also getting some faster relay components. You know, adding Randa Sloan and Trinity Wilson has played a huge part. You know, Honey has always been a solid runner, couldn't do it without her. And then of course Tia, you know, Tia's been solid. So just getting faster components has helped that. That will be fun because that's going to be an all-out race. There's several women's 4x1 teams that are doing really well in our conference. So that's going to probably be one of the most exciting races of the day. But I can't wait to see it.
Absolutely. And actually, my final question here is I couldn't end it without talking about Mac Broussard, just because in the 10,000 meter race, he is very close to, or at least just on the outside of the national ranking. So just to put it in perspective for those of us watching here, how close he is to kind of getting to that national level in his race, that's going to be something that we're going to be keying in on this weekend.
Definitely. I mean, I think last time I checked, I think he's about 30 seconds off of being able to get in, in that top 20 spot. So he has his work cut out for him. I think that he's going to do a fairly good job. But, it's always hard when you're out in Abilene because there's so much wind. So, but he knows what he needs to do. I mean, this will be pretty much our last 10K of the year. So I think we're going to see something pretty special. He knows the splits. He's capable of hitting those splits. We do it in practice. And so we're excited. I know he's ready for it.
Absolutely. That's going to be another exciting race to keep our eyes on as well. And thank you once again, Coach, for joining us here. And we'll see what happens out there on the track in Abilene, Texas, as our men's and women's track and field teams take on the ASC Championships this weekend. You can stay up to date with all things ETBU sports related at goetbtigers.com or follow us on social media at goetbtigers. Once again, Mark T. Robinson, head coach, Natalie Bach Prather. We'll see you guys again next time.